Hi Libra, welcome back to the channel. Going to do your May 2022 horoscope reading for Taurus season. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for coming back. If you are new here, please like, subscribe, and share. I would be very grateful. Also want to announce that my website is up, so if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find me over there at jovesstar.com. That's JOVESSTAR.com, and you can also read a little bit about me over there as well. So, a lot going on this month in Taurus season. I hope that you have been faring well with all the energies in the sky right now. It seems to be a bit of a mixed bag, depending on where you're at in your life. But let's try and break down what's going on for you this month, Libra rising. Sun is in your 8th house of shared resources, along with Uranus and Mercury, and the North Node that is transiting there, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But, if we're talking about shared resources, that can be with an intimate partner, that can be debts that you might owe, people that owe you money, investments, family legacies, retirement, anything like that can be a focus for you this month with the Sun hitting your 8th house. Now, Taurus, all about earthly resources. So our finances and our security and our comfort levels. Definitely a Venus ruled sign, but a Venus ruled sign in terms of our earthly resources. What makes us comfortable? What do we need? This is also a time where you might be thinking about what's really important and trying to simplify your life and plan for things in the future. And that could have something to do with other people, either money that you owe in terms of debt, like I said, or combining resources with a partner, possibly. Uranus sits there, so that can cause some sudden change or inspiration. So you could be, cooking up new and different ways of combining resources or paying off debt. Or you could have had some surprises come along there in that area of life. Mercury sits there too, so that is a lot of planning and talking. It can also represent people coming in and delivering news, but Mercury is some kind of news or planning or movement. Definitely very active for you this month in that area of life. Now, we have the transiting nodes that I mentioned in the South Node directly across from the North Node in Taurus that's sitting in your 8th house. South Node in Scorpio sitting in your 2nd house of earned income and what you have. So, and what you feel you need. So, with the South Node there in Scorpio, you might be either seeing that the money that you're earning is going out faster than it's coming in, or you might be choosing to give something up in that area that you've been doing that generates income for you. Overall, because you have a 2nd house in Scorpio, you've always been very interested likely in developing and maintaining and control over your income, and something about this South Node is changing that. It's lifting something out of there, or you're giving something up, or it could be taking something away, or simply just shifting the focus from what you have yourself, what's important to you specifically, to 8th house, North Node in Taurus, combining resources, partnering with somebody to simplify your life and maybe create more security going into the future. Or you could find yourself saddled with debt and you're having to let go of more of your money. It just depends on what's going on in your life. Now, there's a T-square there to Saturn in your 5th house, which tells me that this has something to do with your social life, romantic interests possibly, children, your creative expression, what you do for fun. Saturn is sitting there. So squaring those nodes, this could be a choice point. You could be trying to simplify your life and reducing or shifting control over your income because of a situation that you have to deal with a child, possibly. With Mercury sitting in your 8th house, that could be something, and Uranus, that could be something that suddenly comes up that requires you to focus on a child. Or like I said, possibly a partner. It could be a romantic interest. The 5th house is also the house of financial speculation, so you could be, that definitely goes with some kind of investment, maybe even a windfall of some sort. It could be a very interesting month for you in terms of your financial resources and your shared income. So money you have, money others have. Now I should say too, the 8th house, because it does represent what we owe and what people owe us, it's also a very karmic house. So the 8th house, when it comes to intimate relationships, can also be those kinds of relationships that we have karma to fulfill with. So 8th house rules Pluto succeedingly in astrology, and something could be changing there. Let's see, what else do we have going on? A lot of activity in Pisces still. We have Jupiter and Venus conjunct in Pisces, Neptune, of course. Now we have Mars in Pisces, all hitting your 6th house of service and routines and your health. So something in there could be changing for you. Maybe something's value has increased, so you could have a love interest that's taking up more time on the day-to-day, or you're working very hard to increase your income. Venus represents money, obviously, or you could be letting go of something. There could be an ending as well. Neptune does represent endings, traveling with Venus, and Jupiter could represent the dissipation of something, you know, sort of an ending in some way. Also represents health. So, you know, 6th house in Pisces is a very sensitive house in terms of your health, especially if there's levels of stress and what you're responsible for in the day-to-day. So, you know, who are you of service to? And are you taking care of yourself equally? Trying to remember all the details in that house can be very difficult with the 6th house in Pisces, because, you know, we're very sensitive to the energy that comes towards us, very sensitive to the needs and wants of other people. And that, if you're not giving equal attention to your own health, can cause issues. So something could be going on in there. Mars moving in there could, you know, exacerbate that and kind of, you know, increase or you know, make a health issue worse very quickly. Or if you're, like I said, experiencing a love interest that's taking up a lot more time, or you're taking care of somebody that you love and value, Mars coming in there could give you some more inspiration. You know, all of this is in Pisces, so these are things that come at us that, you know, we sense and feel, but we can't always see, and we may not know exactly where it's coming from. But 6th house in Pisces, intuition is heightened, again, like I said, in terms of the energy that surrounds us in the day-to-day. 6th house Pisces is very compassionate and giving. Like I said, make sure you give back to yourself, because your health can be affected. So if you're not feeling well as a result of all of this transiting, all these transiting planets in that area of life, you should get to see a doctor. That would be a very good idea, to pay attention to your body right now. Pluto is traveling in your 4th house of the home and family, has been for quite some time, and that means that there's powerful change occurring in your home life foundation, your family of origin, mom, dad as well. Squaring the moon in Aries, which won't be in Aries for very long. It's in Aries today, but I want to point it out because that might be bringing up the last few days, and maybe for the next few days, a lot of powerful emotions around maintaining your independence. Something could be happening in your home life that you feel has some kind of control over you or is forcing you in a way that physically you may not feel is right for you or that you want to do. And the moon in Aries right now, anyway, in your 7th house could be bringing up emotions in and around relationships, or there could be a female energy or just a very emotional energy. Aries represents the first sign of the zodiac, and it can be very childlike, it can be very selfish, it can be very independent, it's impulsive, it comes quickly. So whatever emotion is affecting your 7th house of relationships and partnerships might be shaking things up for you the last few days. But you know, the moon will move out of Aries. It moves every 2.5 days, but it is a pretty and potentially aggressive and or passionate energy, which would be great if you had you know, your 7th house of relationships sparking up with passionate energy and things are moving very quickly. That would be good. I want to say too, in the 8th house with the Sun and Uranus and Mercury all in Taurus, North Node in Taurus, they are starting something new, growing something from the beginning, and this will intensify with the eclipses that we have. That be very careful of unplanned pregnancies. Squaring Saturn in the 5th house, which is the house of romance and where you know, sex and pregnancy could start. That could also be something that might happen for you this month. So, you know, if you're wanting to get pregnant, fantastic. If you're not, this could come along and be a huge surprise to you. So that's what I see going on for you, Libra rising, in the month of May. And we have these lunations coming up. In fact, tomorrow is the solar eclipse in Taurus. The nodes, as you can see in your chart for that eclipse, are in the 2nd and 8th houses, which I explained a little bit about. And then on the 15th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and they'll be hitting you in the same houses. So a lot of change in your resource area, in thinking about what's important, maybe letting go of some things, combining some things, cooking up new things. Definitely looks to me like there are other people involved. I also should say too, that was Saturn square. Maybe I did say it was Saturn squaring that 8th house with Mercury sitting there. You could suddenly find out something about a child, maybe needs more care and attention, something like that too. So thanks for coming and listening. I'd like to hear what's going on in your life. Pop it down in the comments. I would be happy to read it and definitely will reply. If you're interested in a personal reading, please head over to my website and send me a message through the contact page. I'll get right back to you. The new moon solar eclipse is tomorrow, and I plan to do something for that. And I may actually do some live personal readings for a few people if I get a notification out in time. And I may do that tomorrow, or I may do that on Sunday. Definitely not a hard plan, but something that I want to start doing. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I will see you next month for your Gemini 2022 reading. And until then, may the stars forever be in your favor. Take good care, and I will see you next time.